We have talked a lot about bots, and we've talked about creating bots on different applications, bots for Telegram, bots for Discord. Well, it turns out you can create a bot for, well, just about anything as long as it exposes an API to you. But I'm not here to talk just about bots today. I'm here to talk about what a bot means and what it represents. A bot is effectively a form of automation. And when we want to talk about controlling bots, we typically want to affect some automation, some long-term behavior in a piece of automation or in your bot. And so we're not going to be covering multiple simple bots today. Instead, we will be covering a single bot example that takes us very far. And now what we won't be covering today is a simple dashboard that just visualizes maybe some usage statistics or looks pretty and gives you that quick snapshot of information. What we want to create is not more of a reporting dashboard, but more of an administrative dashboard or an admin panel. If you used Django or other web frameworks like it, you'll note that it does come with kind of a built-in sort of administrative panel or dashboard that you can interact with your web framework. And this lets you do things like turn on or off endpoints and have a lot of control over your ongoing processes. And what this means for us is that bots are not fully automated all the time. They can be, nor are they fully manual. I'm not needing to sit here and start and stop my bot every time I wanted to do something and edit some code along the way. And so we're looking for a sweet spot that falls right in the middle between a manual process and an automation process. And in order to demonstrate that to you, I have prepared some code to share with you all. We'll be talking about a Discord bot today, and for those of you who have not yet seen the Discord bot or the Discord API, we'll be using Discord Pi, which you can pip install, and this provides to you an interface to create a client, or in this case our bot, and everything has some default arguments that you pass intents into your client, and all your intents is just a set of permissions effectively. Can this bot read messages? Can this bot edit messages? Can it delete them? Can it see members? Which channels can it see? Which can it not see? And how can it interact with those things? And if we run this 10-line script here, we'll see that we start our bot and everything is controlled by an event loop initiated by the .run here, and we just pass our bot token in. And you can see that once the bot is ready, we kind of have these callback-based events. And you can see that once my bot was ready, it printed out all of the channels that it belongs to. And I have started up our very own Discord server here. And you can see that I have a channel and it's called Bot Test Ground. And on my member list, it's just myself and my bot. So why would we even link up a bot to a dashboard? Well, this gets into a little bit of what I was talking about before for a user versus an administrative dashboard. A user dashboard will typically report metrics. It will be interactive, meaning you can drill down into different metrics. You can see maybe usage statistics on or by user or by view or anything like that. Whereas an administrative dashboard has the ability to affect an ongoing process or an ongoing piece of automation. And the reason we want to do this is because we typically will want to share this automation, not with just ourselves, but with others. And we don't want to have the technical overhead of writing your own code to perform some simple tasks. And so if I have a task that requires maybe 5 steps, and those steps need to be dynamic or flexible, maybe just by switching up the inputs that are provided to them, well, a dashboard or some type of graphical user interface is very helpful because it constrains you to not input the things incorrectly, but it also guides you to help make sure that your automation continues running. And so we have administrative dashboards because not everyone is going to be a technical wizard, and not everybody needs to know all of the ongoing pieces inside of your automation in order to work with it. And so this gives us a very powerful way to share automation and also tweak that automation with others, maybe if you're working in an organization or a company. In our next question, we get into what is a bot? Well, I mentioned a bot is simply just a piece of automation. They are typically interactive, or they respond to commands, and so they'll retain some type of state. If you have a stateful bot, maybe like a chat bot would retain its past history of your conversation. But effectively, bots are just scripts. They're just processes that are running. They can receive some input. They can do some things in the background. They can send you some output. Almost sounds like just a web server. But why might bots need to control? Well, we might want to control our bots because, well, maybe they help us do things. Maybe the bot is actually the core piece of infrastructure that's interacting with some backend service. And so if we want to interact with that service, we might go through the bot. And so we might want to change some inputs that the bot is using, add data to the bot so that it can do additional things, or simply have a bot repeat a task a number of times and specified by the user. And so bots are very useful for linking distinct APIs. So if I'm creating a Discord bot, well, I've designated Discord as the place that I want to do some work. And how Discord says you should interact with it is through a bot. So if I want to do some work through Discord, I should be creating a Discord bot as that linkage piece. And then from there, I can either have a dynamic bot, a stateful bot, or a stateless bot. And maybe that stateless bot wouldn't benefit from having a dashboard because if it's stateless, I'm probably going to be running that script manually, or it's just going to be a fully automated task that needs no user intervention. And so here you can kind of see the differences between a task that is fully manual all the way on the left and fully automated all the way on the right. And along this spectrum, bots that need interactivity will typically fall somewhere in the middle. Maybe not perfectly in the middle, maybe some bots are more automated than others, but when you need something to automate a task and still maybe play around with that task while it's still running, well, this type of control strategy for bots is very beneficial. And so let's go ahead and dive into the bot that we have prepared today. We have a simple link sharing bot. And all this bot does is it has a command, a slash command for those of you familiar, and we'll take a look at this in just a moment. But it has a slash command and it's called review. In this review, you pass a URL. And now I haven't actually hard-coded that to enforce that you pass a URL, so you'll see us playing around with some kind of fake strings in here. But the whole point of this is you're supposed to share maybe a blog post. I know a place where we can get some great blog posts, by the way. But maybe we'll share a blog post and we want to share that with our friends. And then whenever we share a blog post, we want to create a quick poll with a thumbs up, a thumbs down, and maybe a shrug for some reactions to see how everyone else in the channel responds to this article. And then maybe we want to create a thread so that people can post text-based reviews. And so you can see that we're doing here with our bot, we're creating a poll, and we have our thumbs up, our person shrugging, and our thumbs down. We add those emojis to our message, we send our message, and then we create our thread. And so let's go ahead and boot this bot up and see how this command works. So I type in /review here, and let's give it a URL, dutc.io, and you can see that my bot has created check out this article. And now it's not an article, but you get the idea. Check out this website. And of course, this is a thumbs up in my book. And so as a user, I've rated this. And my bot has created a thread for me. We can post messages in this thread to provide reviews. And so I think this is a great website. Now, not all articles, not all websites are made the same. And so what if I wanted to have a bot running as an ongoing process, but I wanted to maybe continually update some of those parameters. Maybe I want my bot to automatically block some URLs. And so that is one of the features, one of the ways that we might want to add some control to our bot. We might want to say, hey, if a user sends you this URL, I don't want it, make sure we block it. But before we get to actually adding behavior into the bot, let's take a look at just a simple dashboard. And so for our dashboarding today, we'll be using the panel framework. And I like panel because it is quite simple to get something up and running. And more or less, it gives us that bidirectional communication that we want from a dashboard. This is not simply just for viewing pleasure. But let's go ahead and take a look here. I'll go ahead and make a column, and we'll just give this one piece of markdown. By default, it will render our text as markdown. And then we simply serve this app. Just give this a random port. I think I've been using 5006. Let's go ahead and run that. You can see that my server has been launched. I don't want a new tab every time, so I'll change that to false. But you can see, well, my first dashboard right there. And now if I wanted to add different components to this dashboard, well, I could, of course, simply add more things to my column. Maybe just another string to keep things simple. And you can see that we have added another component. One of the reasons that I like panel is that it's very flexible in what it takes as input. And so I can actually create, let's create a matplotlib figure here and some axes, and I'll plot something on that axis. And then let's go ahead and span this to multi-lines. Get rid of this. And let's just return our fig. And we can wrap this in a matplotlib pane, which we don't have to do, but matplotlib. Just need my imports here. And there we go. Now I have a dashboard with a single matplotlib figure on it. Now there's no bi-directional communication yet. This is simply a PNG, right? All of the matplotlib image is rendered and then base64 encoded and then sent to my front end. And this is what panel is displaying. And obviously panel controls all of that for me. But the thing that I like about panel is that we can add reactivity to these things. So I can effectively take my application, and maybe we'll switch up our approach a little bit here. Instead of using matplotlib, I'll add a title. And that'll be a markdown component. And then maybe I'll add a button here. And we'll give this a name. We'll say click me. A nice little exclamation mark. And from these one widget, right? Widgets give us our bidirectional communication. This markdown is a pane, and I'll tell you about the kind of conceptual organization of panel in just a moment. Create my application, or in this case, I'm really just creating a layout. And that'll consist of my title and my button, and then we're gonna serve this app, and I'll just grab my serve code from up here. Just give that a refresh, and now we have a button. And our button, I mean, I can click it. You can see I'm clicking it here. It's not doing anything yet. It's not doing anything interesting. And so what we need to do is add a callback to this button. And this callback takes an event, as most callback-based mechanisms do. And we'll print hello from Python. So let's give that a reboot. And when I click this, you can see I get a new message, hello from Python, on my bottom console. And so we actually have some communication from my front end, and it's triggering a Python-based callback on my back end. And it took, what, like 2 lines of code here? And this is one of the things that I like about panel, is that it's very easy to get up and running with some simple ideas. Like most low-code tools, though, you're going to hit a wall if you want to do some very fancy laying out, or if you want to have some very high fidelity transactions because you're limited to Panel's own internal communications. But I'm not too concerned about that because for the dashboards that I'm typically creating, I'm not trying to scale to, large numbers of people. I simply want to make reporting tools for myself and maybe for a few others, maybe my team members, because that is, the extent of the work that I'm doing. And so getting something up and running just very quickly is a very useful tool to have.